I've started recording. Thank you very much for joining us for this info session itself. My name is Stephen Lever. I'll introduce you to Manuel and to Sam a little bit later. I just want to actually just give you a little bit of a 10-minute intro into the EBS.COSA program that we're going to be running. A little bit about myself. I'm not going to actually introduce Sam or Manuel. I'm going to let everybody actually just introduce themselves. I've been lecturing CTA for more than 30 years, UNISA for more than 30 years. I'm a former top student from WITS. I have lectured at WITS. Last year, I ran a tax department at one of the private universities. I've got, as I said, over 30 years CTA experience. I've lectured all 4 subjects themselves to great success. So this will be kind of like my 32nd year of doing CTA this year. So I've been doing CTA for a very, very long time. I'm just going to actually take you through a couple of just points just with the program itself. Please feel free to ask me any questions. I'd like to keep this as informal as possible and go through answer all of your questions as part of this. Sam's just said that she can't actually switch on the camera for the session, but yeah, you can see my ugly face, so, and you'll see Manuel's handsome face, as I'm told by all of his female admirers a little bit later itself. So I'm just gonna, yeah. Okay, guys, so basically 5 subjects in CTA itself. Audits done by Sam, groups and efforts are done by Manuel, MANAC and tax are done by myself, and we're the lecturers. We will go through each of our individual subjects a little bit later on. We will go through them and we'll discuss each of the individual subjects, and the person responsible for the course will actually go through and chat to you about the courses individually in about 10-15 minutes time. So just the fees. So 13,000 for all 5 subjects, or 3,250 per subject. As you can see, you get about a 20% discount if you do all 5 subjects with us. Okay. Alternatively, if you want to just do individual subjects, it's 3,250 per subject itself. So that's the way that so those are the fees. And I'm sure most of you know the fees. I just wanted to actually just remind you guys about that. So there is a discount if you actually do all 5 subjects with us. Okay, just a couple of tips on how to pass CTA in 2022. Okay, so I've run CTA programs now for probably 25 years. I've been involved in CTA programs. I always like to actually just start off an info session just with a little bit of info into how to actually approach this year. CTA is not for everybody. It's a very, very difficult thing to pass. The pass rates are very, very low. So I just want to give people a little bit of a heads up on what needs to happen this year if you're going to pass CTA. My own personal belief is if you're a CTA level 2 student, you need to actually pass board next year. So everything that you do must align yourself up with passing your RTC exams next year. And you need to prepare properly now to actually pass all of your RTC exams. So let's just start off with a couple of things. So number 1, you have to pass all 5 subjects, spread the love. So you can't just pass 4 subjects because then you'll go back to repeat them. Unfortunately, you have to pass all 5 subjects in an academic year. If you fail one of them, you come back and you actually have to repeat all 5 subjects again. So a lot of people spend a lot more time doing financial accounting from our past experience, also management accounting, don't necessarily spend as much time on audit and tax. You need to actually make sure that you pass all 5 subjects. So you need to spread the love when you're actually doing stuff this year. You need to do all 5 properly. Second thing, we'll discuss what's actually going to happen as far as lectures are concerned this year. So I've got here 10 Monday lectures for love and motivation. I think it's very, very important that you remain motivated, that you understand what's going on. Last year, we had lectures on 5 different days during the week. It didn't necessarily work. A lot of people couldn't actually do that. So what's actually happened this year is Mondays will be for lectures And there might be certain other things that are added on later on in the week, depending on the subject and depending on what's happening with the class itself. But there's only lectures on Mondays, and all 5 subjects will be dealt with on a Monday. We're going to try and motivate you. We're going to explain the work that needs to actually be done on a weekly basis, go through what's expected, how to actually approach stuff, and just discuss your journey with you. So if there's problems and you need some help, we can actually provide some help as well. You'll see that me personally in a Monday lecture, I'll probably give you some unseen tutorials as well. So that is a tutorial where you don't know what the answer is, and we'll go through those tutorials just to make sure that you understand how to do examples and how to approach them, as well as actually understanding how to approach the work itself. Mondays, this is essentially what it's going to look like. So 6 to 6:40 is the audit. Then IFRS, 2 more 40-minute sessions. Okay, so IFRS in groups for FINAC, and then you'll have me to actually keep you awake until 10 o'clock at night. I'm more of a shock lecturer, and I will tell you rude jokes and do all sorts of things to keep you awake, to make sure that you physically understand what to do for tax and MAC later on. So that's essentially for people that want to know what lectures are going to take place this year. Mondays, every single Monday, a lecture, okay? Just 40 minutes a subject, might be a question, might be a tutorial. It'll explain the work that needs to be done for the week, go over problems with you, okay? Keep you motivated. Monday nights are for lectures. The rest of the week is for you to actually get stuck into your work itself and work through that. 3, okay, you need to work at least 35 hours a week on CTA, 7 hours a subject. The 5 subjects you need to pass, 7 hours, 35 hours a week. And I know a lot of people are going to sit there and say, but I've got a job. What am I supposed to do with this? Okay. Unfortunately, this is the commitment that you actually need to make, okay? You have to spend the time trying to do the subject. So I'll give you an example of what I found helps with students, and I'm just opening up the whole thing. So Monday to Friday, 1.5 hours in the morning before work. So what am I basically advocating that you do? I'm advocating that you wake up at 4 or 5. It depends on how long the ladies take to actually make themselves beautiful in the morning. And what I'm suggesting is that you actually drive through and spend at least an hour and a half before you start work doing your varsity stuff, preferably 2 hours, okay? A lot of people can actually fit 2 hours in the morning before work starts. So if work starts at 8:30, you need to be at work at 7 and do 1.5 hours each day, Monday to Friday, before work starts, okay? Preferably 6:30, getting to work and spend 2 hours before 8:30 when you start. Tuesday to Friday, 3 hours in the evening. I know this sounds very, very strange, but if you finish work at 5, maybe what you need to do is work from 5 to 8 at work, so you don't get bothered and you don't get caught up in the traffic itself. And then you drive home at 8 o'clock and that's your work finished for the day. You can spend time with your family and do something along those lines. Okay, so try to stay out of the traffic. I want you to get to work before the traffic starts. I want you to leave work after the traffic ends. All of our stuff is online, so you'll be able to do all of the online stuff, and you can use the Works Wi-Fi stuff to actually do a whole lot of your downloads themselves. And then I've got Saturday and Sunday, 15.5 hours or more. This totals up to 35 hours a week. So you've got to work Saturday and Sunday. You need to actually do your varsity stuff as well. And you need to spend this amount of time. If you decide you can only do 30 hours a week, then it's 6 hours a subject. Okay, 25 hours a week, you might as well not waste your money on the program and not do the stuff. You need to spend the necessary amount of time. UNISA on their website say that, but you need to spend at least 30 hours a week doing this stuff. Okay, that's what they say that you need to do. Now, I think you need to try target 35 hours a week. I think it's very, very important. And this takes a commitment. You need to tell your wife or your husband that you love them. You'll see them at the end of the year. Tell your children that you love them, that you'll spend lots of time with them at the end of the year. You need to be totally committed to actually passing this. Next point, okay? please trust your lecturers with your summaries. If you want to actually register for the program, okay, we provide you with summary notes. We provide you with videos. We provide you with everything. Please just trust your lecturer with the summaries, okay? It's one of the strangest things that I find happening on a CTA program, and it's one of the reasons why I think a lot of people fail, okay? So first and foremost, people seem to think that they need to do their notes all the time, okay? Nothing could be further away from the truth, okay? You need to do far more questions to pass at the end of the year than you need to do learning the theory itself. Often you can actually learn the theory while you're doing the question itself and while you're practicing with questions itself, okay? So you need to spend a little bit less time a week on materials and understanding from there, and more time doing questions, okay? You have to do questions. If you're not going to do questions, you're not going to pass. Okay, that is your key to passing this. If you're a repeat student, that's wonderful. Your chances of passing are much better. You should be spending lots and lots of time doing questions and seeing whether you know how to do stuff itself. Okay, and with this regard, trust us with our summaries. Okay, please, you're paying a whole lot of fees on the course itself. We'll summarize all of the stuff for you. We know what's important. As far as the board syllabus is concerned, things have got a level 1, 2, and 3. Level 3 being most important. We will focus you on what's important itself and follow our weekly work program itself. I do understand that maybe at the beginning of a test that you need to prepare for, we might spend a lot of time on material in week 1 and then lots more time on questions later on. But look at the weekly work program and see what happens. And what will happen as well is inside your weekly lectures, we'll refer you to what work needs to be done. Now, here's the most important thing I'm going to say tonight. You need to do questions without looking at the solution. The OER method does not work, okay? I have lost count with all of the students that I've taken over the years. I took a full-time class last year at one of the universities. Okay, and the amount of people in the class that used the OER method and failed miserably and only started doing better when they stopped looking at solutions, okay, was extreme. Okay, I made lots of people cry last year, okay, because the OER method simply doesn't work. Okay, if you don't know how to do it, you don't know how to do it. Finish the question earlier, then go through the solution. Here's the important stuff. Be passionate about what you get wrong, okay? Now, a lot of students, they mark a question and they get 60% and they go, fantastic, I passed the students, and you move on, okay? That's not how to pass CTA. What you need to do is you need to understand the 40% that you got wrong, okay? It's so important that you understand the 40% that you got wrong, because how else are you going to improve, okay? How else are you going to get better? Okay, because you need to understand, did you read the required wrong? Did you not read the question properly? Is your knowledge sufficient? And the most important thing is the more you fail and learn from failure, the more likely you are to succeed next time. So people are scared to fail, okay? I want you to embrace failure this year, because the more you fail, the more you will succeed in the long term. Because for you to get something right, you've got to fail at it lots and lots of times. Okay. As I said, I was top student at FIT. You'll see Manuel's top student at UJ. Okay. I promise you, both of us, even though that we were top students, we failed and failed and failed, and we learned from that failure, and we, okay, succeeded in the long run because we understood what we did wrong. I got 40% wrong. Shit, if I'd read the required properly, I'll get it right. I promise you, if you keep on reading the required wrong, at the end of the day, you'll either, well, if it was me, I'd beat myself senseless until I started reading requireds properly. Okay, but I understand that there's a problem. Or if I don't read a question properly, I'll teach myself how to read a question properly. And you'll see in a lot of the tutorial work that we actually do with you, we'll show you how to do these things. If I don't understand something, I've got a thing called a stuff-up sheet. when I do tax or Mac with you, you'll see how I use the Stuff Up Sheets itself. It's there to build up your knowledge base itself. Because understand where you fell, and the next time, if you understand why you've gone wrong, your next question should be better, and then better, and then better, and then better. And you'll start passing over time. It doesn't matter that you're getting 10% or 20% when you start. The most important thing is what you get for your final exam. The next thing, guys, please do the simulated test that we give you. This is a new thing inside the program. For each of the UNISA class tests, there will be 2 simulated tests given per subject. Please try to do these under exam conditions. They will give you an indicator of whether you're ready or not, or whether you need to do more work and more point you in a direction where you need to do the work. UNISA, I haven't seen all of the study material this year. Normally they publish it in December and put it up on their website. I went in again to look today. I can't find anything, but there's normally 4 class tests that you need to do. And we will give you 2 sim exams for each class test. We will also give you 2 sim exams at the end of the year to prepare you for your year-end exams. It varies depending on the subject itself. Like for tax, I normally do all of the new developments and I'll write questions to you because they won't be in your tax. With a new development, there can't be an old exam question on. You need to write stuff specifically for them. And you need to do these under exam conditions. Okay, so do the simulator test, see whether you understand stuff. Next thing, revision. Okay, if you do our course, whatever subject you register for, the revision's included in your course fee. So the fee that you saw earlier, everything's included there from a revision perspective. Okay, I've got certain students that always get so excited. Why haven't you given me the 2019 class test? Please just understand, we release material over an academic year. We have to keep some stuff back for revision. So please just understand that. So revision is included and it's normally done after test 4. And there's a revision program that gets run for each and every single subject for that. So there's a revision subject. Okay. So just 1 or 2 things. There was a question here. It's basically, if your knowledge base isn't strong, should you spend more time on doing knowledge? Okay. So here's the thing. Okay. If you're doing CTA for the first time, my personal belief on this is you're going to have to spend a little bit more time on doing knowledge. You'll find that the 3rd year that you did has prepared you for a lot of the CTA topics themselves. There will be certain CTA topics that you will never have seen again, and that's where your lecturers come in. We will spend more time on those topics itself and give you lectures for it. But you have to spend time doing questions, because doing questions means that you're doing topics. And let me just explain something. If you stuff up something totally in a question, that means you need to go back to your theory and understand your theory. But I'd much rather spend a little bit less time on theory, and then if I see that there's a problem with the topic, go and do the work. Rather than spending 5 hours reading through my notes, even though I understand all of my notes because I did it in 3rd year, and spend 2 hours doing questions. I'd rather go look at my notes when I make a mistake, rather than when I spend all my time looking at notes and never do any questions itself. So there's a merry balance that needs to be done. But if you've done something in 3rd year, there's no need for you to go and learn everything all over again. You might as well do questions, and whenever you make a mistake, go back to your notes and understand why you make a mistake itself. Okay. And that's just the end of my little presentation now, just to start off with the CTA stuff. What I'm going to do now is are there any questions anybody would like to ask? Because after this, we're just going to go through, and each of us are going to just discuss with our subjects, just our overall approaches and how to do something. Does anybody have a question that they'd like to ask? Okay, so no one wants to ask. So what I'm going to do first is I'm actually just going to do tax first, and I'll do Manac last. And then I'll hand you over to Sam to do audits, and I'll hand you over to Manuel to do financial accounting. I'm just going to start off with a little bit for tax, and I'm just going to show you what's going to happen. So what happens with this is as follows. Okay, let me just move a screen across. Okay, so What happens with our CTA program is we make use of a Google Classroom. So essentially what will happen, you can do this on your phone, or you can actually do this on your computer. You'll go into Google Classroom, into the app itself. And what will happen is all of the classes that you registered for will be found inside the actual class itself. Okay, please understand that if you want to do trial classes, there are trial classes that can actually be done. So you guys can do trial classes. Okay, so if you want to access the trial classes, you can just speak to Marcus, or you can speak to Joanne in Central Administration, and they will give you access to the trial classes free of charge. The trial classes have got the first 2 weeks worth of lectures in them, and I'm just going to actually just show you what you might find inside there, and so that you can actually have a look at it. Sorry, I apologize. My internet connection seems to be very, very slow at the moment. I don't know why it's not going into my classroom quicker. Very strange. Normally it's instantaneous. Okay. There we go. So I'm just going to go down to the tax class at this point in time, just to show you what's happening inside there. So guys, what happens inside every single classroom is there's a stream. What happens as far as the stream is concerned is that this is where you can ask questions, you can interact, and you can chat to everybody. Inside a classwork section, what's going to happen is there's a pacer included inside there for my tax. You can click on it and you can go have a look, and I'll explain to you how everything works. Okay, so my classroom is going to have a weekly worksheet, which I haven't done yet because I don't know what's in your assignments yet. I'm waiting for your first assignment to do it. But essentially, what you'll find happening is every single topic that you've got inside CTA, you can click on a link to it, and there are notes on absolutely everything, and there are videos on absolutely everything. I don't know what you know and what you don't know. So there's a full set of notes and videos on everything. You'll see here's for VAT, and the VAT notes are very extensive. This is still VAT notes, by the way, going through the VAT notes. I don't know what you need help on and what you don't need help on. But this is a complete textbook from a tax perspective. Do you need to go get the prescribed textbook? I don't know. Go and have a look to see whether you like the textbook that I give you. Okay. Many students don't actually buy silk. Okay. Am I advocating you don't buy silk? Absolutely not. You must actually do whatever you're comfortable with. But you will see that there's a full set of actual notes on everything. This is what a set of notes might look like. So very detailed sets of notes, full of examples. As I said, this is a summary. It's there to actually explain to you how everything works with illustrative examples. And remember, all of this stuff, if you ask Joe or Marcus just to add you onto the trial classroom, all of the stuff for the first 2 weeks is included. You can actually get to see what the notes look like and everything if you're not sure whether you want to register or not. Okay? And it's as simple as actually clicking on something and opening it up to go have a look at it. And you can go and have a look at something. There's the notes. You can go have a look at it. Similarly, if you want to see something here and you're saying, I don't understand special exemptions from donations tax, there's a video which will take you through the notes, and it goes through the entire set of notes there. So everything is there for you to actually watch the video itself. Okay, so the videos and their notes. What will happen though is I don't necessarily intend for anybody to go and view all of this stuff. This is more for a full-time student if you're looking to actually do something. However, what's going to end up happening is I will provide you with a 3-hour, 2 to 3 hour video a week and examples to do. The examples will differ between 4861 and 4862. And there'll be different examples for the two courses. And there will be another, okay, folder here where you can just go and have a look. Now that would be the equivalence of a class lecture each and every single week. So if you were to actually go to a class and sit down at a desk and watch a video, it will be me going through the entire topic with you for that week itself. So I'm going to basically record a video that you can watch at any stage that you want, which will be a lecture for the week on that topic itself. Generally, 2 hours of video. Okay, I still expect you to take 3 hours to go through stuff because you might want to go back and have a look at stuff. And generally, there'll be around about 4 hours of questions for you to go through. Again, normally with the questions, again, if you have a problem with something in the solution, there will be a video there to explain to you how to do something. If you look at the required and you go, I don't know what's in the solution, I don't understand this, you can go to the video and you can see how everything works. And that's what will be in there for the classwork section itself. So everything's included in there as well. Okay. So questions on stream, and then on classwork, you can look at all of this stuff. And by the time the year is finished, there'll be lots and lots of these paces. There'll be a separate one for revision, for old exams. There's all sorts of stuff that goes into here, and you'll find all of that there. As far as tax is concerned, just one or two things. I know people speak to me about textbooks. I don't know what's going to happen. I haven't seen the Tatleta 101 this year because they haven't actually issued the stuff yet. I haven't seen it yet. They may have issued it. I don't know whether you guys have got a copy of it. However, generally, as far as tax is concerned, you need to have a SACA legislation handbook. Okay, that is required. You should buy one and you should go get one for tax. You will see that as part of the notes exercise that I do. I show you how to tag that book itself. Okay. As far as the question book and as far as the prescribed textbook is concerned, go see what I give you and you supplement the way that you want to supplement stuff. Please just understand that I do have model solutions from a lot of the textbooks themselves. I can always actually share extra questions with you and give you extra work to do. You just need to speak to me individually to actually do that. So that's how tax would work for the year itself. Okay. So again, just everything, you just go onto the pacer, you open it up, and you can go and find whatever notes that you want to find as far as this is concerned. It'll all be available for you on the pacer. I've already put videos and all of the notes down for the year. It's as simple as finding the topic, there's CGT, clicking on that to link it through. And there's all of the CGT stuff. I haven't done the new videos for CGT yet, you'll see. But there it is for deductions, all of that stuff is done. But please remember, this is not what I'm going to ask you to do on a weekly basis. I will record a 2 to 3 hour lecture and I'll record solutions or homework for you to do on a weekly basis. Okay, so that's there. That's how tax will work. I will do MANAC last. Again, I just want to introduce you to Sam. Sam, can I hand over hosting of the meeting to you?
Thanks, Stephen. Hi, everyone.
I'm just going to make the host. Where's it? It's not live. Wait, there. Sorry. More. I'm making you the host. So you've got control over everything on the screen. And I'm stopping to share. There you go. Shoot.
Thank you. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's just unfortunate that I cannot switch on my video this afternoon, but you'll surely see me. So just some background, or some information around myself. I have been teaching auditing for the past 9 years. I've also done internal auditing at WITS as well, a part-time lecture there. I also am a full-time, I do work full-time, so I am a risk head at one of the banks. And, when we think, and I'm not going to go over what Stephen has said, but when we think of CTA and we say we need to spread the love, you need to say goodbye to your family, he is telling you the truth. So this year is going to be a year where you have to give 100% commitment, dedication, and you need to be focused. And if you join these online courses, any one of them, that will enable you to, work through your study material, for you to ask questions. It would be a platform that serves you, and how your study program will work. So a little bit on the auditing. So the classroom works exactly like how Stephen has explained and shown. You will receive a PACER. It's very, very important that you understand that the PACER is sort of a live document. So as tutorial letters get released, or there's additional questions, or there's additional videos, these will be linked onto that PACER. So it is very, very important that you remain active on this PACER. What you would find is that there is a combination of content, so that's your material, and your questions with suggested solutions. So of course, when it comes to auditing, the OYAR method doesn't work. So auditing is not about auditing the solution. It is very important that you set the scene like it is under exam conditions. And what I mean by that is that when you tackle a question, you sit down as if it is under exam condition. You look at your time, you time yourself, and you attempt these questions. Once the time is over, then you mark and have a look at where did I go wrong, and assess. And as Stephen mentioned before as well, we need to be passionate about what we got wrong. What we got right, we will forever get that right. So that becomes very, very important when it comes to auditing. You would find that, the classes are combined for 4861 and 4862. The topics are exactly the same. However, the level of testing differs. But we must be mindful that there is an overlap of these questions. So it doesn't mean that because I'm doing 4862, I wouldn't want to go through a 4861 tutorial letter. We've seen instances where some of the 4861 past question papers were in tests for 4862. So it would be nice, to start off with 4861, the content there, any additional practice questions, and then you move on to 4862. Also, what's important, and this is directly related to your knowledge base, when you look at every single topic within auditing, you will find that these are not new concepts to you. These have been covered from your first year up until your third year. So when we go through this knowledge base or the content, it's supposed to be sort of a refresh of your knowledge. So for instance, we've tackled Companies Act in AUE 1601. We've tackled King in AUE 2602. We've done so our substantive procedures, our test of control. So it is basically recap. So what I also suggest is that the more questions you focus on and learn through application will be the best method for auditing. And that is sorry, I'm not sure if you can still hear me. Okay.
Sam, we lost you for like a second.
Yeah,
we can hear you.
So it was saying connectivity. So what I was saying is that it's very, very important that through these questions you learn, through that application, and that would also brush up on that knowledge base. It is pointless that you make tons and tons of notes for auditing, but minimal time spent on questions. And that is one of the pain points. When you look at how students practice, some of them just think, okay, auditing, I'll be able to read the question, I'll go through the answer, and yes, I know. but it doesn't work like that. Under exam conditions, you become very stressed out, you panic, and you want to, like I said earlier on, you want to set the scene when you practice these questions as if you were writing these tests. So that's very, very important. In terms of, the textbooks, we also receive queries around, you definitely need to get your psycho handbooks, but, which can I use a later version? And, when it comes to those textbooks, that you want to sit for board. So you want to have the latest versions of those textbooks available, for you to also tag and understand how to navigate. One thing is that students also think that an open book exam, because you're allowed to take these handbooks in, is that, it is easier. I promise you, it is not. An open book exam is much harder. And what we find is that students think, okay, I have my handbook, I'll be able to navigate. But under exam conditions, you've never opened your handbook and you struggle to navigate. So that's also important of how you tag and work through your handbook. So you are very, very familiar on where the sections are and how to navigate. That also saves time within the exam itself. Of course, there are moments where, auditing, you get a complete mind block and you hate the subject. You need to start learning to love it because it's not difficult. Maybe it's just that mindset around, auditing is terrible, and make it enjoyable by working through, the content, the videos, show a different attitude to it. And I'm sure that you will be able to excel if you follow and dedicate to the study and work program. You will be able to excel not only in auditing, but all of your modules. I'm not sure if there's any questions and that I'm willing to answer.
Okay, so doesn't seem to be any questions. I just want to hand over to Manuel now and let handsome Manuel show you the way through. There we go. See, I've got a face for radio, but I don't want to. You go ahead.
Hi guys, and welcome to I suppose Happy New Year. Welcome to the new year, and of course also to this afternoon session. So thanks so much for taking all the time to come in and see what we're doing and how we can effectively help you get your CTA. So by way of introduction, my name is Manuel Rodriguez. Like Steve had said, I head up the FAC IFRS as well as groups. And for me, IFRS and groups has always just been a passion of mine since, varsity days. So I've been in the academic space, in the FAC space for since 2010. So that makes 12 years now. And each of those years I've been lecturing at various institutions. I lectured at UJ, I lectured at University of Limpopo, I lectured at some independent schools, and this is now my third year at Edge. And so I think at the end of the day, guys, like Steve said, CTA it's a beast, that's sort of like, quite unlike anything that you've had to face before. For those of you who are going to repeat now, I'm sure you'll agree that the challenge is just something completely different than what you've had to face in life before. And one of the things that I want to point out to you is, from a team point of view at Edge Business School, we've got a really solid team. And in terms of academic content and slides and all of that stuff, the quality of the stuff is really on point. But that's not really the point of my message. What I'm trying to tell you is that, at the end of the day, you could have the best resources. But at the end of the day, CTA is actually an emotional game. And the reason why I can say this is because probably if I took the amount of times that I cried in my CTA is probably more than all the other years of my life put together. And it does something to you, you know. So at the end of the day, I think the important message here is that there are going to be times this year where it's going to feel like, oh my goodness, this is too much. You know, I don't know if I'm going to make it, whatever the situation is. Remember that it's an emotional game. As soon as you get into that mindset, you start losing that game. Okay. And that's why these weekly sessions that Stephen spoke about are actually quite important, because at the purpose of those is really for us to be able to touch base with you, to check whether emotionally you're doing okay. All right. Do you need a bit of a pep talk? Is there something that you're not quite understanding? So it forms like a nice little basis for academic support, because yes, you would have worked through the videos and you would have worked through the content, and then you might attempt a question and realize, okay, well, you know, I've gotten the deferred tax wrong, for example, in this particular question. You bring that type of thing to the platform, and we work with you on it, so that you don't get to the point where your confidence is taking a beating, and then you get to the point where you start telling yourself, oh my word, I suck at deferred tax. And that's really where the emotions become like quite a big part of the game. So to give you an example, one of the girls who studied with me, the year that I did my CTA at UJ, she was in the CTA group the year before me. So she failed the first year. She then attempted the second year within my year, and she came out in the top 20 at UJ. All right, now at UJ at that point in time, we had probably about 650 students. So you can imagine, to come in the top 20 out of 650 is quite an achievement. So you could tell already, really bright girl. But again, the challenge that she faced in her first year was that she let the emotions get the better of her. Then what happened after that? She then went to go write ITC, and she failed. Now, from being in the top 20 at UJ, she then failed ITC 4 times. Again, guys, it is an emotional game. How you deal with the stress, with anxiety, with whatever's going on in the day that you're going to go right, is then going to set you up for success. So that's why I keep on saying, yes, there's a lot of academic content in CTA, but in my mind, the challenge of CTA is probably about 40% academic content. The other 60% is your emotions. Now, Sam touched on a really good point where she said, you know, and it's about developing fitness. So when you try questions at home, or you attempt these, you know, whatever questions, it doesn't make sense that if the question is a 30-mark question, you give yourself 3 hours to write the question. You have to start simulating and developing a fitness to write the test on the day. So you have to, you know, you have to, if it's a 30-mark question and you get, 45 minutes to write that question, you have to write that question in 45 minutes. When that time is up, you put your pen down, because that's what's going to happen on the day. And you need to start getting used to dealing with that stress or that tension when they tell you 5 minutes left of your paper. We all know that feeling when, you know, you get that cold feeling at the back of your neck. There's 5 minutes left and you're only on part B and you have to get up to part F. We've all been there. So really, it's about mastering how do you cope. And there's a couple of really nice techniques, and we do exam technique sessions with you guys on how do you pace yourself in exam, and to make sure that you're not in a situation where there's 5 minutes left and you're on part B. Because I can tell you, in my undergrad, I did it, and I'm sure you guys would have done it too. So it's all those little tricks and those little things that we can do for you, or at least help you with and coach you through, to get you not only academically fit, but also emotionally fit. Okay. And to reiterate the point that Sam made, I mean, like on the day, I mean, I know when you guys write your exams at home or you do test questions at home, you've got your question, you probably have the solution there. And if you get stuck, you take a quick peek and, you know, you let the solution guide you, and then you write a little bit of stuff by yourself. You have your cup of coffee on the table. You've got Celine Dion in the background. We know how students operate. You need to sort of break all of those cushy environments that you set up for yourself and try and mimic the environment on the day as much as possible, so that you can be completely prepared to take what the exam is going to throw at you. So yeah, I mean, again, I know I get some questions, and I know there's a lot of overachievers out there. There are some students out there who are like, okay, I want to pass. That's great. I'm happy. That's awesome. That's what we're all aiming for. And then we always get the odd 4 or 5 students who are like, no, I'm aiming for a distinction. What do I do? So there's a lot of coaching and advice that, you know, personally I've done as well for a lot of students who want to be in that bracket. If it's what you're aiming for, you know, at the end of the day, you know, a course like this is aimed at getting or helping as many people as possible. But we do know that everyone has sort of specific goals and what they're trying to achieve. If that is the case, then you're sort of at the right place, because, you know, we've got the solution for, you know, the masses who want to get the 50. And if you're one of those guys who want to aim for a distinction, we've got the solution for you too. So yeah, I don't really want to, you know, give you too much about my background and my history. But yeah, if there are any questions, anything that you guys want to know, please feel free to unmute yourselves and let's chat. Okay, we have Pamela, one hand up for distinction. Good job. Anyone else? Let's just see, I think, when do lectures start? I think there I'll hand over to Stephen. Stephen, when are we planning to have the first lecture start?
So let me put my video back on. Okay, here we go. So unfortunately, we don't have any study letters at this point in time. Normally what we do is we start in the last week in January or the first week in February. It depends on when your class test is set for. So generally we're going to start then. But what I'd like to do is let me just share screen with you. Oh, Sam, could you just make me host of the meeting again, please? I'm sorry. I just want to just show you guys something. Sam?
I'm trying to, it's just not
go
allowed.
Next to my name and more, and just say, go next to my name and say host. Wonderful, that's great, thank you. Let me just go back here. Okay, so I think that there's no time like the present to start. So this is one of the classrooms that's available. You can get it tomorrow morning if you haven't got this yet. So this is the 2022 CTA online trial classroom. What you'll find happening in here is you'll find that there's a pacer, and for all 5 subjects, there's 2 weeks worth of lectures included in here. Obviously, these will get modified a little bit when we see what's actually down for each of the tests. But if you guys want to start working, you can actually start finding all of the stuff inside this trial pacer itself. And you can start having a look at some of the stuff that you can actually do. Okay. Obviously, this has been built based on last year and what they wanted us to do. And it's subject to whatever TUT letters get issued at the moment, but you can start working on this stuff now. So if you have a look, I said I'd come back to Mac at the end of the day. So this would be my first week's worth of lectures for Mac, okay? And my second week's worth of lectures for Mac, if you guys wanted to actually just go through and have a look at how to do stuff. So everything's included in there, okay? There's a discussion on Mac textbooks. I've left last year's discussion in there just to see what's happening at this point in time. You'll see that we really do believe in exam technique. You can see that there's exam technique, and there's a video on how to do exam technique with an exam technique question, just to try actually just get you into the whole CTA vibe itself. What Manuel had to say about just that confidence issue, okay? I really, really would like to just reiterate that your attitude this year will make such a huge difference as to whether you're going to pass or fail. Second thing that's actually really, really important about this year is that exam fitness that has actually been raised by both Sam and Manuel. Every single question you do during the year should be done under exam conditions, okay? Because it's like running a comrades marathon. If you don't practice, you're not going to be able to go the distance. I've actually spent the last week helping either UCT students who actually failed at the end of last year. And I've been helping them out with just trying to prepare for a sub. And the biggest problem that student has had is that their time management is terrible, because they just simply can't work quickly enough to actually get through sufficient material to actually pass the paper. So they only ended up answering about 60% of the paper, and they ended up getting 48 out of 60. And the 40 marks they've left out, they're definitely a competent student. They know exactly what they're actually doing. But unless you're used to actually answering under exam conditions and managing that pressure, making sure you answer questions properly, you can't pass properly. It doesn't matter how clever you are. So this is a student that's getting 80% for whatever they're doing, but they just can't work quickly enough. This is why we say to you that you really need to actually do lots and lots of questions and do them under exam conditions. Get your attitude right, get your mind right, okay? You can't get everything right. Manuel said that he cried more in CTA than he did in any other year of his life. And he was one of the top students, okay? I can actually vouch for that, okay? If I didn't have a meltdown in second year when I was doing it and I actually got my attitude right, it set me up for fourth year fantastically. And remember, I was top student at this, okay? Okay, I stuffed up unbelievably during the year itself, but it's the final goal that you're actually looking for, keeping your attitude right, getting everything right. And that's what the Monday lectures are for, okay? Keeping you on the right track. You're going to see other people that are having similar problems to you. And you must embrace failure, because the more you fail, the better, the more you'll succeed later on. Because if you learn from your failure, so you get better and better and better and better. It's not a time to actually learn from failure just before your exams. This is a lifelong learning experience where every single time you fail, you embrace it, you learn from it, and you get better. And what happens at the end of the day is you just get better from that itself. So if I can just encourage you guys, if you want, go into the try before you buy class. So this is what it looks like. So they can load you up onto the 2022 CTA online trial classroom. You can go into it. You can go into the classwork section, and you can start working on your stuff now. Okay. We will only start lecturing formally and start submitting actual stuff for you with a plan to work on at the end of January or the beginning of February. But there's nothing to say you can't start working now and start doing stuff now and seeing what you need to actually do as far as the year's work is concerned. Okay, so all of it will be inside here. I will actually put this video inside this classroom later on tonight. So if you want to actually go and just see one or two things from this video, just so that you understand it, everything will be in the trial classroom and everything will be inside there. So let me just go through a whole lot of the stuff. How do you get access to this? It's free. It's open until the end of February, this class. You just need to go onto our website, contact Marcus or contact Joanne. If you want to send an email to Marcus, M-A-R-K-O-S, @ebs.co.za, he can get you onto here. So can Joanne. So it's Joanne @ebs.co.za. They can get you onto this. So you can get that. As far as payments are concerned, sorry, it's just one thing. We do offer bursaries, okay? Just have a look out. If you're on the mailing list itself, I will send out something. We did hand out 10 bursaries to people in need of financial assistance last year. I'm sure that there'll be something similar this year. We don't do it yet. We just wait to see all of the information through UNISA and everything. But in the next week or two, if this is something that you can't really afford to do something, please just watch out for the bursary announcements. And there's a bursary form and you can actually fill it out. And Joanne and I go through all of the bursaries themselves. There's a lot of bursary stuff that does get handed out as well. We will provide you with a full study timetable. Please just understand at the moment, if you need to have an issued the TAC letters, we can't provide you with a study timetable yet. So at the moment there's a study timetable out, give us a couple of days and there'll be something there. As far as the question is concerned, it says, will you give us something from Monday to Sunday? Personally, we're not going to give you something from Monday to Sunday, but what I will do is I'll give you 7 hours of work a week. Okay. What order you choose to do your work in, whether you want to do tax first, or you want to do Mac first, or FINAC, or you want to do a little bit of each subject each day or whatever, that's totally up to you. My personal belief is that you should try to do 7 hours of work for a subject and write it off for the week itself. So I will be giving you what work needs to be done for the week. We're not going to tell you what day to do it on, because you need to decide how you're going to plan for everything. Okay, and you'll be able to do that. And then the pacer, guys, it'll keep you up to date with everything that needs to be done for each test, etc. And you'll be able to see everything off the pacer itself. As far as the Monday lectures are concerned, people are asking, is this the only thing that's going to happen? Not necessarily, guys. It depends on what happens during the year and what UNISA asks you to do. If students are struggling, I will organize certain extra lectures that will take place depending on what's happening. I want you guys to do the work, not to actually watch me do stuff. So please just understand that if I give you 7 hours of work to do during the week, just me personally, I will have videos to support you on those 7 hours of work during the week itself. So you're going to have videos for all of that stuff. If extra stuff is required, I will organize some extra stuff to actually take you through stuff, especially for revision later on in the year. You'll see that I'm going to do a whole lot of extra revision stuff, me personally. There will be some extra supplementary support, okay? Depending on what happens, we might actually have an add-on. I'm not sure whether we're going to charge for it, but we might actually mark papers and go through exams with you, just to actually, for students that have got exam technique problems as well. So there might be some stuff there where there's some one-on-one stuff. Again, if you need a one-on-one session, the classes include the support. So you can always ask me for a meeting, and I normally set up Zoom sessions during the week itself. Okay, and we can actually go through the stuff itself. If you've registered, there's much more stuff in the classroom. So this has only got 2 weeks stuff. Okay, that's 2 weeks for tax. Once you've registered, the classrooms have got a lot more stuff in them. The trial classrooms have just got a taste of what you could actually just have a look at yourself. So that's what the trial classrooms have got. Okay, you can email us directly, or you can post in the stream. The moment you post in the stream, I get an email, and I normally email back to you, so you can get everything there. And then if you want to actually just start with your work now, just use the trial classrooms to actually start now, and you can get an idea of what's actually happening. It's just very, very difficult if you actually don't have the TUT letters yet. So we're just going to have to wait for the TUT letters themselves, just for them to come through. So I hope I've answered all of the questions that were raised on the chat line. Is there any questions that somebody would like to ask? You can talk. Mustn't be scared. Okay. My email address is stevenl@ebs.co.za. Okay. We'll post into the classroom all of our individual email addresses if you want us to, if you want to actually just send us emails and ask us any specific questions about the topics themselves. Okay, so you guys can have a look. The one thing that you'll need just for the trial classroom, guys, is you need to actually get an EBS email address. One of the most important things for you to just understand with these PACEs, guys, is in the sharing side of things. I just wanted to show you something. Sorry, let's do that. What you'll find happening, guys, is it says, there we go, share ETH business code set. To actually get into these PACEs, guys, what happens is you need to be logged in using your Edge Business School email address. So you'll see I'm logged in over here as StephenL@EBS. Okay, sorry, there it is. If you're not logged in with your EBS email address, you will not be able to access these PACEs. So you need to go and speak to Joe and Marcus just to make sure that you get an EBS email address and that you can go in and have a look at the trial classroom and look at everything that's inside the classrooms themselves. All of our notes, if you logged in using your normal Gmail address, you won't be able to look at any of the paces. They're all locked, that you can only look at them if you've got an EBS email address. So just speak to Joe and just speak to Marcus about getting that address itself. Okay, so that's there. Can I just ask, someone's just asked, should we start with the notes and videos? Rowan, I think that it depends on whether you're full-time or part-timer, okay, as to what you want to do. I just want to get the first TAT letter and just have a look to see what's actually there, okay? The stuff that you've got inside the, there's Joe. Joe says she can create an email address for you and you'll be emailed once you've been invited to the CTA trial classroom. Joe's just put that in as a message. What I just think that you need to do is just wait for that first TAT letter to come out, and it should be out in the next couple of days. They normally do publish it in the first or second week of Jan, and just rather wait for that. And then what's always going to be better to do is I will record ahead of time, 2 to 3 weeks ahead of time, the actual lecture for that week itself. And it's better to go and do that lecture, which covers all of the work, and then go and actually work on the areas where you've actually got a problem. I think it's better for that. But if you want to, send me an email to Stephen@EBS. I'll set up a separate Zoom session with you, and I'll go through the approach to doing stuff, because you seem very, very keen to actually get started, and I'll do it with you specifically. Just send me time and we can set up a Zoom class where we can go through it, and I'll show you how to work with all of the stuff that's there at the moment. Okay. Any other questions, guys?
Hi, Stephen.
How's it?
I just wanted to find out, please. I initially logged in on, I think I'm on the trial classroom, and I got the email and I was able to access everything over the weekend. I just wanted to ask, now that now I was just, I joined on a trial basis because I also just wanted to get a feel of everything. And after this information session, do I have to register again if now I want to officially be part of the H?
Yes, so the trial classroom is only open till the end of Feb, and it's only got 2 weeks worth of information in it. So you need to then just contact Joanne or Marcus, and they'll register you into a full class, and you'll see that there's a little bit more in the full class itself, and you'll be able to work with that stuff over there. So yes, you need to still do another registration through for that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks, Yanela. Cool. Any other questions, guys? I just want to wish you guys luck for this year. You need to just make sure that you sort out your lives and that you're totally committed to this. And that mentally you're in the right frame of mind to actually just succeed as far as this is concerned. It's something that you just need to consider and you need to actually just work on. Please just think about it. This is a huge step this year. Okay. The one thing that if you work with us or any program, basically you'll save a whole lot of time because a lot of the stuff is actually summarized for you and there's work and we point you in the right direction, show you how things get asked, show you board questions, that type of stuff. It just comes down to a trust scenario itself. You need to embrace the program and you need to trust in the program itself. And you need to also just trust in your fellow students and set up some study groups with your fellow students and drive yourselves on during the year itself. So just think of it from that perspective. That's why inside each of the classrooms, you'll see that there's a list of all the people that's on the class. Okay. And that shared experience will help with stuff. And just understand during the year that everybody is really, really struggling. I've had so many students that have come from UJAN, from WITS, I don't know whether any of you are there out there, that are absolutely blown because all of your confidence was taken away from you and you couldn't pass. And it's just a process to get onto and be confident again. The other thing that you just need to understand is we don't set your exams, so we're not trying to hide anything away from you. We will try to do everything that you could possibly get asked in an exam and try to prepare you for that itself. I know that if you've got students that come from other varsities that failed at Pretoria, UJ, I know that there's generally a thing with the varsities where they make you do a whole lot of the work by yourselves, okay? We not like that. We're there to actually just hold your hand and actually show you how to actually do everything properly. So you need to get out of your mind, what do I not know, okay? It's a totally different scenario. So I've had so many students over the years that just emotionally have been an absolute mess from failing CTA programs. Okay, we're there to just try open your minds and get you to pass CTA and get you to pass board as well. We're just going to try actually just open up your minds and help you to succeed. Okay, and just trust us with the experience. I mean, all three of us, I can tell you now, we're absolutely passionate about lecturing. We're absolutely passionate about helping people. And we will try to help you as much as we can. And yeah, I just want to wish you all good luck with your CTA journey this year. Any more questions? Anything? Otherwise, I'm just going to finish the session. I will post this entire video into the classroom, a link for it later on tonight, so that you can go and click on the link and you can actually see this video. Okay. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate you giving us your time and joining us tonight. Thank you very, very much, guys. And I hope to actually help you during the year itself. Thank you. Thanks.